What's up, everybody? This is Reject, and today I'm going to be starting a little bit of a little mini kind of series tutorial thing because it's kind of hard to explain everything all at once. I'm going to be doing the R&D workstation and how to use it and how to get started with your character and how to use all that stuff, because using that stuff is really important. It really enhances your character and it really boosts your performance with everything you do, whether you're DPS, healer, troller. Everyone has to use this stuff, so it can be a little confusing at first, but it's not really too bad. Once you get the hang of it, you'll kind of just understand that the hardest thing in doing this is going to be getting your Exobits. Now, what the Exobits are is basically the things you'll be farming for in order to make your mods, and your mods go into your gear as you can see, and you'll basically be plugging them into a red, a blue, or a yellow socket, 3 primary colors. And pretty much from there, what you'll be doing is trying to add innate strengths to them. So you could add more precision, you could add more might, you can add more health, dominance, restoration, vitalization, power, and all that good stuff. So you'll really want to use it because you could maximize your character. If you're a healer, you could put more restoration, and it's very useful. So I'm gonna explain to the best of my ability to what you got to do. With certain gear, it can be a little confusing because if you're a DPS, you're going to be getting a lot of red Exobits, because with the red Exobits you get precision and you get might on them, so you'll want to get as much as you can because you want to put might and precision on your gear. But here's the tricky part. Though you put a red socket of precision into your gear, you'll get an affinity bonus. As you can see, it's highlighted in green on these gloves here. It says socket affinity bonus 53 power, which is good because not only do you get the precision that you put on the gear, you get that affinity bonus. So get those bonuses for DPS because it's more power, so it is useful for DPS. And there's really nothing else that you could put besides the straight precision or the straight might, depending on what you're doing. But some people like to put might and precision. You could put both at a lower cost of precision and might than a pure precision or might. However, if you're a DPS and you have a yellow socket, you can't just put precision, might, or might and precision because it's a pure red color. And the reason why is because the red color, pure red color, doesn't correspond with a yellow color, which is why you'll have to mix it with yellows. You'll have to mix your red with yellows in order to get yourself the affinity bonus. So what you'll have to have is either a precision and power plan, or you'll have to have a might and power plan. And in order to make these mods, you're going to be needing the plans. But first and foremost, I'm kind of trying to explain the Exobits and the Exobytes and kind of how everything works there. So first, what we're going to do here in this video is I'm going to explain Exobits and Exobit farming. Exobit farming is kind of the only way you could get your Exobits free, pretty much. You can buy Exobits, but they're kind of costly and usually not the best way to go. So you'll want to farm these things. You also get a feat for them, and feats are important. You could sell stacks if you don't need them. You could trade stacks, or you could transform the colors that if you have an overabundant amount of blues, you can change them into reds and yellows. What you'll have to do is you'll have to take it to the R&D machine and convert it that way. So first, what we're going to do is we're going to look for our Exobits, and Exobits can be farmed pretty much all around Gotham. And you don't really need to just go to a certain spot. There isn't really just a certain spot. You could go anywhere and kind of find these things. But just know that they do spawn kind of randomly in the city, but they usually tend to be there once you go there again. They're very easy to find. They're just very time consuming in order to get. Now, as you can see, this is an Exobit. It's a shiny node, and what you'll have to do is you'll have to hold circle or hold whatever button it is you're playing the platform on, and you'll basically be picking up your Exobit. You get 1 red Exobit, and usually it takes about a lot of Exobytes in order to make it, so you will have to be farming for these a lot, unfortunately. So it does take a lot of time. but it's kind of relaxing. What I normally do is I just put music on, and you'll kind of just start farming that way. Your best bet usually when farming for Exobits is to go to a place where you don't really have too many people walking around, where you'll have little chances of them picking up your Exobits, and you could kind of farm like by yourself and kind of find everything on your own. I usually just go looking around for them, and it's not really too much of a hassle. However, if you are having problems, you could end up buying the R&D scanners. However, I don't really use them myself because I seem to farm pretty much just as easily without it. So I don't really need it too much. I can just kind of farm on my own. I did use it one time because I did get a free one, so I ended up noticing that I was using the same route that I usually take, and I was getting pretty much the same amount out of it. But they are pretty useful. If you don't know where they're at, you could buy one. They're pretty cheap. I don't know if they're like $1 or 50 cents or so, but really good to use if you don't know what you're doing with the Exobits and you're just not having a good time finding them. Sometimes you'll get double Exobits from them, which is pretty good, but it's a little more on the rare side, so it's not something you can really depend upon. You can get up to 3. You can also get a complete Exobite from a node, which is very good. Will it be the color you need? Probably not, but it's still good. Another reason why you want to go far away is because you don't really want to be competing with other people. Sometimes people do have a similar route to yours, so it will be kind of hard to find Exobits at times. I usually do it late in the day or when people are probably most likely off, whether they're at work or they're asleep or so. You can probably use those times to your advantage in order to get yourself a whole bunch of Exobits. As you'll also see that you can look at the trade menu, and you can probably trade people with your bytes for other bytes or other Exobits for other Exobits. People tend to do a lot of trading, so usually as of now it's been 1 for 1, so you don't have to really worry about like getting gypped or anything like that. You can use you could get yourself like 10 red bits for like 10 blue bits or 10 yellow bits or so. They tend to be pretty much the same. Some people probably will inflate them, but if you're willing to trade them, you can do so. But again, it's usually 1 for 1 for the most part. Blues tend to be a little less wanted because there are more roles that take advantage of the other colors than blue, more of yellow and red than blue. So there's not too many people looking for blues out there unless they're tanks. Also, another thing, when looking for Exobits, they do emit a bit of a hum. When you're nearby. So what you can do is, if you have yourself a nice headset that has that you could adjust the volume on, or if you just have earphones somehow plugged in, you can also listen for them, and it's very easy to find them that way. You'll also be able to pick them up if you're flying by and it just kind of hums real quick. You'll know that you could just backtrack a little bit and find yourself the Exobit. So it's not really hard to find them at all. They are randomly kind of placed, but once you get used to finding them, you could kind of go back to the same spot and pick them up right there, and you'll be able to get yourself some bits. So as you can see, this is kind of like my little collection of Exobits that I have on me. I usually carry a bunch with me because I do end up needing some, so I will be showing you guys what you could kind of make with them. This is what your Exobits look like when they're just bits. When they're bytes, they'll look more like this. This is a durable Exobite. Durables are made by combining blue and yellow together. Vengeful is made by combining blue and red together. Tenacious is red and yellow, and I believe I have every color shown or so. So that's pretty much it. These are your key elements for making your mods. These are what you kind of need the most of when you're trying to make your mods.